Imagine waking up surrounded by snow-capped peaks and falling asleep under a desert sky, all without crossing a border. Some countries contain entire worlds within their boundaries, places where you can hike glaciers, surf tropical waves, and wander dense forests, all in a single week. But why does landscape diversity matter? Because it changes the way we travel, and more importantly, the way we think. It challenges our assumptions, it expands our definitions of beauty, and sometimes it even mirrors the complexity of the people who call those places home. Today, we'll explore 10 countries whose landscapes aren't just stunning, they're wildly varied, deeply symbolic, and sometimes surprisingly misunderstood. You'll be shocked to learn about the last country on the list. Let's begin our journey. Number 1. Chile. Imagine a land that stretches vertically along the edge of an entire continent, where the world seems to reshape itself every few hundred miles. That's Chile. In the north, you encounter the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, where red sands and cracked salt flats mimic the surface of Mars. This barren beauty holds a haunting stillness, yet surprisingly supports life, from pink flamingos to desert foxes. As you move southward, the landscape softens into fertile valleys with lush vineyards and rolling hills, perfect for sipping wine under the long shadows of the Andes. Then, seemingly without warning, you descend into Patagonia, a region of jagged peaks, cobalt lakes, and slow-moving glaciers that seem to defy time. The climate here is harsh, the winds relentless, and yet there's a purity that hits you in the chest. Even further south, in Tierra del Fuego, you're staring into Antarctica's icy breath. Chile is a country of relentless contrasts. Each region tells its own story, not just in geography but in the way people have adapted to it. Fishermen on the Pacific coast, farmers in the valleys, and mountaineers in the wild south. It's more than a collection of landscapes. It's a living atlas that urges you to ask how one narrow strip of land can feel like an entire world. Number 2. United States. Across its vast expanse, the United States doesn't just offer different climates, it delivers entirely different worlds. You can stand in the red dust of Arizona's slot canyons and feel like you're walking through Earth's ancient memory, then drive a few hours north and find yourself in Colorado's snowy peaks, breathing in alpine air. One coast is rocky and forested, the other sun-drenched and lined with surfers. Between them lie rolling prairies, swampy marshes, tropical keys, temperate rainforests, and frozen tundra. It's not just about what you see. It's about how each landscape carries its own rhythm, culture, and energy. In the Pacific Northwest, moss-draped trees hide secrets under overcast skies, while the Everglades pulse with quiet tension in the humid south. The Appalachian Mountains exude an old-world calm, in contrast to the raw scale of Alaska's wilderness, where grizzlies roam and glaciers creak. Even Hawaii, far removed from the mainland, offers volcanic craters, black sand beaches, and rainforests all within a few miles. What makes it all more striking is how people interact with these spaces, whether it's the solitude of backcountry hikers in Montana, the boat-dwelling communities in the bayous, or the eco-conscious surfers of California. Each environment shapes not only what you see, but how you feel. And if you journey through all of it with open eyes, you begin to understand that America's diversity isn't just in its people, it's in its land, whispering a different lesson at every turn. Number 3. New Zealand. Tucked away in the far reaches of the Pacific, New Zealand feels like a world designed by imagination itself. On the North Island, you can soak in steaming geothermal pools, hike through ancient kauri forests, or gaze into the volcanic caldera of Lake Taupo, a serene body of water that once exploded with apocalyptic force. Just a few hours away, rolling green hills stretch endlessly, dotted with sheep and quiet farmhouses, looking like something from a storybook. Then there's the South Island, dramatic, towering, elemental. Here, the southern Alps cut across the land like the spine of a giant, cloaked in snow and mist. Glaciers tumble toward temperate rainforests, and deep fjords carve their way into the sea like nature's cathedral halls. Milford Sound, especially, strikes you with its cinematic stillness, where waterfalls freefall from cliffs into ink-dark waters. What's astonishing is how compact this diversity is. In one day, you can stand on a windswept beach, climb into alpine terrain, and end the evening watching glowworms light up a forest cave. The landscapes aren't just varied, they're alive with meaning, with Maori legends that root each mountain and river in story. New Zealand doesn't just change your surroundings, it shifts your sense of scale, reminding you that entire worlds can hide in the corners of the map. Number 4. South Africa. South Africa is a land of mirrors, each landscape reflecting a different facet of its long and layered history. Start with the iconic view from Table Mountain in Cape Town, where cliffs drop into oceans and wildflowers bloom beside rocky outcrops. Drive a few hours and you're in the winelands, sipping world-class reds in valleys framed by rugged peaks. Head further inland and the terrain shifts, dry, golden, and vast. The Karoo is a place of silence and dust, broken by occasional windmills and endless sky. But South Africa isn't static. The Drakensberg Mountains rise with jagged defiance, a dramatic contrast to the lush wetlands of St. Lucia, where hippos wander near villages and crocodiles sunbathe under mango trees. And then there's Kruger National Park, a living, breathing savanna where lions nap under acacia trees and elephants thunder across the plains. In the same country, you'll find coastal forests that feel tropical, deserts that whisper of Namibia, and surf towns that rival California's edge. Each region comes with its own culture, its own rhythm. Zulu heartlands, Xhosa coastlines, Afrikaans farms. Travel here and you're not just crossing terrain, you're encountering the echoes of colonization, resistance, and resilience, all written into the soil. It's a place that demands attention, that rewards curiosity, and that teaches you landscapes carry memory. Number 5. China. Few countries can match the sheer geographic scale and contrast of China. In the north, the Gobi Desert stretches like a vast, silent ocean of sand and stone, whispering of nomadic pasts and ancient trade routes. Move southward, and the land transforms, first into grasslands and wheat fields, then into towering karst mountains rising like fingers from emerald rivers in places like Guilin and Yangshuo. The diversity isn't just beautiful, it's overwhelming. There are rice terraces in Yunnan that seem carved by poetry, so precisely aligned they shimmer like mirrors in the morning light. In Sichuan, mist drapes over bamboo forests where pandas hide in silence, while nearby, red-hot cuisine burns with as much heat as the region's fiery volcanic soil. Western China feels almost like another country altogether, where the Tibetan plateau soars toward the heavens, arid, sacred, and fierce. And then there's Xinjiang, a region of deserts, high-altitude plains, and mountains dusted with snow, carrying both natural grandeur and deep cultural complexity. The country's massive scale allows it to contain tropical rainforests, glacier-fed lakes, bustling deltas, and limestone caves, all within its borders. What's striking is not just how much the land changes, but how every terrain has shaped the people who've lived there for millennia. China teaches you that geography isn't just about features on a map. It's about civilizations molded by mountains, rivers, and time itself. Number 6. Australia. Australia feels like a continent disguised as a country, a place where the landscapes are so vast, so ancient, and so contrasting, they almost defy belief. In the heart of the country lies the Red Centre, a searing desert where ochre sands blaze under a relentless sun and Uluru rises like a monolith from the Earth's memory. The air is dry, the silence profound, and the connection to Aboriginal culture runs deep, infusing the land with spiritual weight. Yet just a flight away, the coastline tells a completely different story. On the east, lush rainforests in Queensland pour down into the crystalline waters of the Great Barrier Reef, where marine life explodes in color beneath the surface. Travel south and you'll find temperate forests, rolling vineyards, and bustling cities framed by golden beaches. The west, meanwhile, is wild and remote, a coastline battered by waves, carved by wind, and empty in a way that feels timeless. Tasmania, the island off the south coast, offers alpine lakes, eerie mist-covered mountains, and forests so old they remember Gondwana. Each corner of Australia presents a new rhythm, a new texture, from the tropical wetlands of Kakadu, echoing with the calls of crocodiles, to the snowy mountains where skiers carve through winter silence. It's not just the diversity that's stunning, it's how unapologetically extreme it is. Australia challenges your assumptions about beauty, space, and scale, and if you're open to it, it rewards you with a version of nature that feels raw, untamed, and humbling. Number 7. Peru. Peru is a land woven from extremes, From the dry, wind-carved deserts of the coast to the humid depths of the Amazon rainforest, it offers contrasts so sharp they feel mythological. Start with the Andes, that vast spine of mountains slicing the country in two, where ancient Incan ruins like Machu Picchu cling to cliffs that disappear into clouds. It's a place where altitude defines life, where llamas graze under glaciers and locals have adapted to thin air over centuries. Just west of the mountains, you'll find the Nazca Desert, arid, alien, and etched with mysterious geoglyphs that have baffled scientists for generations. Yet travel east and suddenly everything shifts. The landscape dissolves into thick jungle, alive with the hum of insects, the calls of monkeys, and the rhythmic pulse of the Amazon River. In places like Manu and Tambopata, the biodiversity is staggering. More species of birds and plants than entire continents. But Peru doesn't stop there. Along the coastline, surf breaks on empty beaches near fishing villages, while sand dunes tower over ancient adobe cities once ruled by forgotten empires. Every region tells a story not only of land, but of resilience, of civilizations that rose, fell, and left behind a geography steeped in mystery. To travel across Peru is to move between worlds, the sacred, the surreal, and the startlingly real. And in doing so, you begin to see how landscape is not just background. It's a character in the human journey. Number 8. Canada. Canada is a country of monumental scale, so big and so varied that each province feels like a different ecosystem entirely. In the west, the Rocky Mountains rear up dramatically from emerald lakes, glaciers creeping slowly through valleys shaped by ice and time. Banff and Jasper feel almost too perfect to be real, reflections so clear they look painted. Travel further north, and the land becomes even more remote and humbling. The Yukon and Northwest Territories are lands of silence and endurance, where caribou migrate through tundra and the northern lights dance in skies that have never seen a streetlight. But Canada isn't just snow and solitude. The east coast is carved with fjords and cliffs, where fishing villages perch against stormy seas and forests blaze orange in autumn. Quebec offers pastoral hills, icy rivers, and a cultural landscape entirely its own, while the prairies stretch for days, golden and wide, with skies so big they make you feel small. In British Columbia, you can ski down a mountain in the morning and kayak through rainforest channels by afternoon. Even in the far north in Nunavut and the Arctic archipelago, the land is stark and spare, but deeply spiritual, holding thousands of years of Inuit heritage. What makes Canada unique isn't just its physical variety. It's how nature remains front and center in the national psyche. Here, wilderness isn't something you escape to. It's something you live beside. It shapes the identity of a place that teaches you to respect stillness, distance, and the quiet majesty of space. Number 9. India. India is a kaleidoscope of landscapes, cultures, and contrasts that challenge every expectation you might carry. From the towering, snow-dusted peaks of the Himalayas in the north, where prayer flags flutter against an infinite sky, to the sun-baked deserts of Rajasthan in the west, where camels trudge across endless dunes beneath blazing sunsets. The southern states reveal tropical backwaters, lush rainforests, and palm-lined coasts that seem to hum with the rhythm of ancient traditions. In the east, the fertile Gangetic plains support bustling cities and verdant fields, a patchwork of human and natural history intertwined. Each region is defined not just by its environment, but by how millions have learned to live with its challenges and gifts. Monsoons that renew and disrupt, sacred rivers that nourish and cleanse, forests that shelter diverse wildlife and spiritual seekers alike. Travel through India, and you are enveloped in a sensory overload. The smells of spices, the colors of saris, the cacophony of markets, and the solemnity of temples. But beneath it all lies a landscape that is astonishingly varied. Deserts, jungles, mountains, plains, wetlands, and coasts, each demanding different ways of being. India forces you to see the world through a lens of complexity and endurance, a reminder that nature and culture are inseparable, and that the earth itself can be a tapestry of contradictions held together by human spirit. Number 10. Brazil. Brazil is the ultimate testament to nature's capacity for diversity and drama. It's a country where the Amazon rainforest stretches wider than some countries, a vast green ocean pulsing with life, countless species of plants, insects, birds, and mammals, many still unknown to science. This immense jungle is not just a wilderness, it's a vital organ of the planet's ecosystem, full of rivers that snake through it like veins. But Brazil isn't just jungle. The country's length takes you from the humid, tropical north through sprawling savannas of the Cerrado to the towering cliffs and crystal-clear waters of the southern coast. The Pantanal, one of the largest wetlands on Earth, is a world apart, where caimans bask, jaguars prowl, and hundreds of bird species call home. The Andes may not grace Brazil, but the Brazilian highlands offer rolling hills, plateaus, and waterfalls that carve dramatic landscapes. Then there's the coast, more than 7,000 kilometers of it, where vibrant cities like Rio de Janeiro sit beside untouched beaches and mangrove forests. Brazil's landscapes aren't just a backdrop for life, they shape its culture, music, and spirit. To travel here is to feel the pulse of nature and humanity in constant dialogue, an invitation to witness a planet in motion. You'll be shocked to learn about the last country on this list, and how its landscapes challenge everything you think you know about diversity.